and welcome to another episode of DIOTALK. I'm Dio. Let's talk. My guest of the day is she's a motivating speaker. Her name is Kate Welte. Welcome to the show, Kate. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good.
Good.
How are things? How's it going?
I mean, it's going good. Minus, I don't know where you're from exactly, but I'm from Michigan, so
New
the
Jersey.
weather is literally. So I don't know what the weather is like over there, if it's anything like Michigan, but we literally had 70-degree weather for the past like 2 weeks pretty much. And today it was 45 degrees and rainy. And I don't know about you, but like that's when my allergies are the worst. So today I've just been going, and then you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Today's kicking my butt. I was like,
Over here it's been raining all day. It's 55 degrees. Yesterday was yesterday you couldn't walk outside. That's how hot it was. And like
right
now it's 55, I think, and it's nonstop raining, clouding.
Yeah, it's been cloudy all day. No sunshine today, so kind of goes with the, you know what I mean, with the mood.
Yeah, I totally get it.
Yeah, because I always tell people, you know, it's okay to admit that you have bad days. Like we're not always gonna have I can't just tell you every single day I'm great or I'm good. You know what I mean? I gotta be honest. Like, I mean, I'm okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I totally get it. I'm the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to talk a little bit about how did you get into motivation speaking? Like what drove you into starting this new transition in your life, or is something that you always had?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so I just want to kind of say this too. I've never really been one to put necessarily a label on myself, you know, like I hate saying, and I love saying motivational speaker because in so many ways I feel like I've just had a good, every time I do speak, right, or I talk to people, especially when I go on my podcast, you know, I always have an important message to tell people, especially like when we were just talking, you know, it's okay to admit I have bad days, and it's, you know, good to have those kinds of conversations. But I went to college for lots of things, wasted a lot of time, worked like 9-to-5 jobs. I worked with children with autism for a long time, so I was a behavior specialist. Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah, so
I gotta talk to you after this. My son was diagnosed with autism not too long ago.
Oh my gosh.
So I'll talk to you after this.
Yeah. I mean, everybody kind of has different feelings about it. And I never, you know, sometimes it's like, it's a relieving thing. You know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh, like I feel better now that I know. Or it's like, oh, that's a little bit scary. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Yeah, and I totally, you know, and that really is what started, because I loved working with the kids. I did. Don't get me wrong. I loved it so much, but I was getting burnt out. And I didn't like that I was getting burnt out and feeling like I wasn't giving my best to, you know, the kids, but I was still able to be so strong for the parents, right? Like I knew how to talk to the parents. I just knew, like, parents literally loved me. You know what I mean? Like they're just I don't know what it is, but you know, I can talk to you. And then that kind of, you know, that pushed me to step out of that like 9-to-5 and then kind of find my way in doing, okay, how can I be a entrepreneur, so to speak, you know, solopreneur. Everybody calls it something different now.
Yeah.
Basically, you
know,
it
all means the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, basically, when you're an entrepreneur, you really are finding like multiple passive incomes, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes it doesn't mean you just do one thing. So that's kind of what I did for myself. And then, you know, I called myself a motivational speaker, especially I put that on Instagram too, because I just, you know, when I get on my podcast, like my voice is just so loud and I feel so good, you know, saying whatever I'm saying. So it's like, yeah, that just fits me for this particular, what do you call it? Like group of people, you know what I mean? People that hop on here and they like to listen to this kind of stuff.
Yeah, positive. That's like good. Positive. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what entailed you starting? What was the point that you said, okay, I'm gonna start doing the podcast? You know, I have all these mixed emotions about inspiring people and lifting people up. Like what was that moment like when you told yourself, all right, I'm gonna do this?
Well, like I said, it was really when I like the parents, they're like, you really know how to talk to us. So I was like,
Mhm.
okay, like I can talk to people. Um, and the podcast, it was it was honestly like an emotional thing for me in the beginning because I was
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh, I just feel like I have so much to say and I feel like people need to hear this because whether you're a man or a woman, I always I love both equally the same.
Mhm.
We all have emotions and I think it's important that we all express our emotions. Like that's really important for me. I don't think a man should be shamed for crying or feeling, you know, girly so to
Yeah,
speak or
yeah, yeah.
whatever it is or a female feeling masculine or whatever it is, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like the emotion part is what really got me started. So I just kind of really expressed what I was feeling and I wanted other people to know like it's okay to feel this way. And it just kind of was a individual thing. And then I was like, I really need to learn a lot still. So what if I bring on guests that are learn the process, you know what I mean? Of I
Yeah,
don't want
yeah.
to call it learn the process of life, but kind of learn the process of like
Have better
self-care and new.
understanding
Yeah, 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 yeah,
of their
exactly.
emotions and self-help.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, just exactly. So I started to bring on different people, and it was not even really me reaching out to them. It just kind of like came together. And what I believe in is like like I believe in manifestation. I believe that, we basically like we have cards laid out, right? And we pick
Yeah.
like which cards we're choosing in life, you know what I mean? And you just have to choose wisely. And that's a part of learning. So really what I did was, like I said, all these people just kind of came together and they're just like, hey, I hear what you're doing. I want to come on and just, send my message out. And I'm like, cool, like, let's do it. And then more people are like, oh, you make me feel really comfortable. I really like what you're doing. You should keep doing it. And then I'm talking to astrologers and you know how all that stuff goes.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
they're like, yeah, you're meant to do this. Like you have a voice, you need to get on the camera, you need to get on the mic, and this is what you're meant to do. And I'm not surprised that you're doing it. So I was like, okay, this is it. You know
That
what I mean? Like
validation, it feels incredible, I can
yeah,
imagine.
yeah. So it was really cool to hear that. And like I said, I'm still learning, of course. I mean, it's only been, oh my gosh, when did I start it? Just over 2 years ago, almost 3 years now. So it's been a little while. But it's always changing and it just kind of evolved into this like magical spiritual realm of, positivity
Yeah.
and so like I said, big self-care,
Yeah,
self-care
yeah.
for
I think
sure.
that's very important in this time and age we're in. We need that more than ever, honestly.
Yeah, yeah.
Um
Mm-hmm.
to
And
like I tell everybody, it's easy I don't know why it's so easy to put somebody down, but to lift them up is like nearly impossible. And you touched something very special, which is regarding emotions. I think we're
mm-hmm.
in need of more understanding of our emotions as people, as a person, so we can learn how to manage them and control them and walk a better path in life. But
Yep.
if we continue to just push them down and
Mm-hmm.
ignore them, not have a source of output, and where we can let that anger or sadness go, we're
Yeah.
setting up for our own demise.
Mm-hmm. And also too, when you're holding in those emotions, when you talk about holding that stuff in, it resonates in your body as, back pain, headaches, tension, stress,
Yes,
anxiety,
yes.
depression, like all these things. Because and I experienced it, I know it, I lived it, and I still live it every day. I don't It's not just gone, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like this isn't stuff I just kicked out, oh, it's gone forever. It's stuff that I had to work through or I'm still working through, right? So I think that it's important, like I said, for me to just admit that. And I think that people appreciate that alone, is like I'm admitting that I'm still learning and that I
Hmm.
have to learn and I don't have all the wisdom, but
Yes,
I'm going to at
yes.
least like share it along the way. And then, like I said, with the built up, especially anger, like anger is just it's a terrible one. It comes at you in so many ways. Like the
Yes.
tension's a big one, and the stress and all that. Which is what part of like the meditation, that's a big part too, because you're looking into yourself, and you're listening to yourself, and you're hearing these emotions, these thoughts, and
Hmm.
you're feeling these emotions, and then you start to feel it in your body, like I was saying. And then that's when you have the opportunity to work through it. So you're kind of like, okay, like let's say for example, because my biggest thing is like my lower back,
Hmm.
like why, what is it? And then when you really start to feel in it, like I might cry sometimes, or I might be angry sometimes, or you know what I mean, or if I feel it in my upper back and in my neck, I'm like, oh, maybe I slept wrong, or you know what I mean. And that could be it. You just needed to stretch it out. It just depends. But I think that awareness, like you were saying, is key to living a healthier lifestyle and being more comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Hmm.
Holding those emotions in, it affects each and every part of your body.
Yeah, I mean
That
sickness too,
yeah,
getting a
you
cold.
exactly.
Hmm.
Like you might think you hurt your back, or you hurt your leg,
Yeah.
and it's just
Hmm.
all this tension, all this pressure,
Hmm.
all this buildup, that you've been holding in
Lots.
for, and you don't know what it is. It's just so much, because we as
Yeah.
people tend to hold it in and just keep moving forward, and then
Yeah.
we'll become that glass cup, and
Yeah.
we're start just overflowing with water or whatever's inside, and just that's it.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely. And I think that, I mean, we could go like really deep into a lot of stuff, but I think that a lot of us are still really stuck on that we need to go, 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 and like do all the time.
Hmm.
But I think like if we were to really step back and spend more energy on more important things, this might be really basic, but I really don't think that enough of us do it, is spending just a lot more energy into things that really matter to you and things that you
Yes.
really love, because well, number one, I don't think we should be afraid of death. And I know that might sound a little crazy, but we have to be a little bit more comfortable with it as a human being, because
Hmm.
it just happens. And the reason I say that is because a lot of the reason we don't do a lot of things is because of fear, right? We're fearful of, well, most of us are like afraid of dying.
Yeah.
So we don't do a lot of things that we might love to do. We may not take those risks, so-called risks, um, because I believe, I don't believe in the word impossible, because the word possible is an impossible. So
Yes.
that gets me every time. Every time I even say it, I'm like, it's possible. I like to think like that. So I was going somewhere with this. I got really sidetracked. I was like, I sometimes I do that. I was like, where was I going with this conversation? I'm like, I was just going, just talking. That's what happens.
Well, just jumping on your what you were saying about death, like I'm
Yeah,
definitely
that's what
not.
it was.
Yeah, I'm definitely not afraid of death.
Hmm.
I do, ever since I had my son, I do wake up in these sweaty nightmares situation. Like my son's it's 4, so for 4 years, I've been waking up this way, and it's not the feeling that of death that wakes me up. It's more the feeling is the time. How much time do I have left to get my things done? you
Hmm.
know Things that
Hmm.
matter. Some
Yep.
days this could be like just working my dream of my business. Some days working on my marriage. Other days it's all right, how much time do I have to spend with my son before he
Yeah.
grows up and becomes an adult,
Hmm.
and moves on from his life.
Right. Right.
And those are my fears.
Yeah. And it's okay to have that, right? Like those are pretty, I mean, I think most of us would agree, like those are pretty common fears for most of us, right? So but the thing, what I think is so cool about life and like being a human is that I know it's so funny like saying that, um, is that we get to experience that. You know what I mean? Like just thinking about it in that way, like we get to experience that. So find ways that we can, so in that fear, what can I do to decrease the fear, you know what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
in that, but still know what's right and what's wrong, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Is it,
Yes. Yes.
you know what
Yes.
I mean?
Yes. Yes.
So, like with spending time with your son, like, okay, I can't spend all the time in the world with my son, right? I
Yes.
mean, even though we would love to, of course, with my daughter, that would be so, like, we wouldn't have to worry,
Yes. Yes.
um but that's what we do, you know what I mean? Like, we worry, we get scared, we get mad, we do all the things with our kids. We have all these emotions, happiness, joy, I mean, just pure bliss, sometimes with our kids. So we just take all those little things and we just kind of love it all, you know? And
Yes.
I think that that's really what's most important. Like I said, that fear, it's gonna always be there. It just will be. And I don't think any of us can just kick it out. It's not just gonna disappear. No relationship is just gonna fix itself and be absolutely perfect for 50 plus years or 10
Yes.
years or however many years you're in a marriage. It's
You know,
always gonna be weird. So
I don't know if it's because I've gotten older, and as you get older, certain situation makes you wiser, whatnot.
oh,
But
totally.
I just I like fear because first
Yeah.
it makes me uh realize I cannot take things for granted, right? It makes you
Yeah.
realize that I'm human,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Uh
Hey,
but
can I
oh,
turn my light on real quick so
yes.
you don't I feel like I'm like dark over here and I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
let me
don't
turn
worry
my
about
light
it.
on real quick. Sorry. Rude. Okay. I just was like, it's getting awfully dark in here. Let's
Yeah.
fix the lighting. There we go. Okay, yeah. Keep going. There we go.
So I was saying that yeah, fear, helps us uh not take things for granted. But
Yeah.
also, like for me, I like it because it almost helps me, forces me to try to accomplish goals I've always wanted to do, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like
Right. Right. Exactly.
helps me, motivate me to get shit done,
Yeah.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
instead of
Yeah.
other people will sit there and just just rock themselves in the bed and just stay in that mindset instead of overcome it
Mm-hmm.
in a
Yeah.
sense.
And yeah, I mean, and it can be a struggle for other people, but I mean, it takes, I say this to everybody, like, it only takes you to change. Like, no person, like, I could bang on somebody's door 50,000 times a day, but it
Yeah,
doesn't mean that I'm ever going to make them get up.
yeah,
They have to have the willpower to do it. I mean, you can encourage people, of course, just
yeah,
like you can encourage your son and encourage your wife, and if you have brothers and sisters and mom, and you can encourage them all in some sort of way,
yeah.
right?
You can only
But
do
are
so
they
much.
always going to listen? Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. That's kind of what I was getting at before. You can only do so much, and you try to just equally, it's balance. You just try to balance as much as you possibly can. I mean, that's something that my fiance and I, like, we talk about it all the time. Like, it's just balance. We got to
yeah,
balance everything
yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah.
Like, that's really what
A
it is.
balance and everything will
So,
help you go far. um but as you were saying,
yes.
you know it's like it's almost like you have to come to realize you have to save yourself and only hope those you care about or
Yeah.
you worry about join you. But if you
Mm-hmm.
like stay stuck,
Right. Exactly.
if you stay stuck on trying to make everybody come with you, you're just
Yeah.
carrying dead weight.
Then you're gonna get disappointed.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then you'll be stuck in that.
That's what I think, because you. Hmm. Because, and that's another good point too, even though you didn't say it, is like the expectations. I
Yeah.
think we put expectations as human, we put expectations on our people, right? And like people
Hmm.
around us. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, because it can be good depending on, the types of relationships. There's different expectations, but you can't have that expectation too high, or you can't expect that person to necessarily adapt or be okay with that expectation, like you were kind of saying. So it's not necessarily even the support, but it's kind of like you also have to remember, like, this person might not be on the same level, and I can try to encourage them, like I was saying before. But if you're still going to be on my side, right, then that's really what's most important, I think, whether you
Yeah.
have that or not.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
mhm.
Absolutely 100%. Um, do you have like a high knowledge regarding what do you call this? Those horoscope, all those type of things?
Um, I wouldn't really say I have a high knowledge on it, but I have a lot of astrologer friends, tarot, tarot cards, past life regression, healers. I have a lot of friends that do all that stuff. And I guess it depends on like what exactly you want to know.
Hmm.
Because I might know and I might not know. But when it comes specifically to horoscopes or like your birth chart, I don't know how to read somebody's birth chart, but I know like apps and stuff that you can get on.
Yeah, yeah,
And I strongly believe that numerology and astrology are extremely important for everybody to learn. Well, I think it's a part of philosophy too, like you can tie all
yeah,
those things in together. But it makes up like who you are in so many ways. Like it makes sense how you're a part of the earth, in different ways. And I think that to me helps us be a little bit more accepting of Mother Earth,
yeah.
or you know what I mean, like the
My
birds.
Yeah, my daughter, she's highly into that. Like she'll sit
Yeah.
down and break everything, from the moon to the sun, and when they
Yeah.
cross paths. Like I sit there for hours and just ask her questions, and she'll. Oh man, I'm gonna link you up with her, and you'll see
Yeah,
how much fun.
definitely.
Yes. So
Definitely. Yeah. I don't know enough. I've just gotten really I go so many ways. Like I study so many things and just kind of bring it into
yeah, I just
you
like
know.
I would. My question is because like just overall when it comes to astrology, right? Like I just
Mhm.
like in certain countries they'll believe in it. They'll go. So like I just want to see like
Yeah.
if it was a scale, like how much is it real and how much is it not real? Because it's like a 50-50 chance. I mean, or I guess
Yeah.
it's for who, it works for that person who believes in it or not.
I think so there's so many, okay, first of all, there's so many rabbit holes you can go down
Oh yes,
when you talk about
yes,
when you talk about this stuff, because I am probably one of the most open-minded people. I mean, I can't say I'm the only one, and there's probably millions of other people, but
yes.
I have a small group of people. I am probably one of the most open-minded people when it comes to life. Like you could throw something at me and I could be like,
Mm,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
maybe. You know what I mean? Like that like I don't know. And somebody, I had this conversation with somebody and they were like, "Well, did you hear about where we are living in like a matrix and we're not really humans?" And I was like, "Hmm." Like I just kind of like, and I thought about it. You know what I mean? Like I didn't throw it out the window. I didn't say no, that's wrong. I was like, I really thought about it for a second. So I just, and I that's what I do. Like I'll just think about it and I'm like, well, talk to me more about this. Like what
Let,
why do
let's
you
see.
think
Let's
this?
see. I'm
Yeah.
interested.
Yeah. So
But you
and
know
she
what's crazy? Those are topics that like I'm like you. Like I'm like for me it's like a story. So I want to hear your
mhm,
story. Tell
mhm.
me. I want to hear more, right? So
Yeah,
I have to
exactly.
I have to tell myself it's a story because I don't want to end up going through this rabbit hole, like
Mhm.
and becoming like a sort of some type of conspiracy, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
And next thing you know, it's tearing my life apart.
Yeah, you
because the
don't. Yeah.
number, the zeros and ones, I can't control them. It means
Yeah.
something. So
Yeah. Yeah, like time and
yeah,
numbers and space, and is the earth flat, is it round, is the moon, like all these things that
yeah,
people, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to say no, but we can't, we this is a conversation that could go on for decades. Like we
yeah,
could have this, like this is life, you know
yeah.
what I
I
mean?
I try to avoid conversations with like
Yeah.
that with certain people because they'll get heated.
Oh yeah,
They'll
I
get
know.
heated,
Like yeah, they will,
and
because they're
I
so firm in the belief.
to avoid a negative outcome, I'll just okay, excuse me. All right. Thank you for
Exactly.
educating me,
Yeah.
and keep moving forward because you'll
Yeah.
go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, you will. You will for sure. And there's so many things, like so many things. That's why it's hard to say, like with astrology, okay, if I'll just say it like this. If you believe the moon rotates or see, I'm making myself laugh right now. If you believe the moon, does the moon rotate around the earth? Like, is that
Yeah.
what most people believe? That's
Yeah.
why I was laughing. So I was like, wait, what is it? So if most people believe the moon rotates around the earth and the
Hmm.
sun like stays still, right? And then the
Hmm.
earth okay. So if you believe that, then astrology is key. That's what I think. Because when the earth and the moon, or the moon and the sun are aligned, and it makes that
Hmm.
straight, so
Hmm.
it's the like that. I think we all got some sort of shift going on, and we all are like, oh, like so many things are going on, things are breaking, relationships are falling apart or something, and people are just think that their life is falling apart, but it's actually some sort of shift going on with the
Hmm. Hmm.
moon, I be-
Energy and
yeah,
aura.
right. Yes, exactly. And everybody's different, we all are activated a little bit differently,
Yeah, I see,
so
and that, like when it comes to like energy and aura,
mhm.
I do believe. I don't,
Oh, 100%.
besides the social media podcast world, I am
Yeah.
ventured in. I'm a very private person. I don't like
Yeah.
people coming to my house because
Oh yeah, same here.
usually their energy of whatever they're going through comes in to my house and they'll stay there for a bit and then they'll just unleash it, so they leave
Yeah.
all happy and peaceful, and then as the hours hours pass, something's cooking up.
Yeah.
Something's
Mhm.
cooking up, and next thing you know, there's an argument, an unnecessary argument that happened that you didn't know why you're arguing.
Right. And it's and another good point to bring up too is not only that, but like let's say you have people come over, right? Like you were just saying, I don't really like having people come over to my house because of like different types of energy or certain types of people
Hmm.
coming to my house, right? Because you might even feel differently after they leave, and it might not be a good feeling. But
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. A lot of some people don't recognize that. Like they might have this same friend, or somebody that comes around, whatever it is, right? And they don't realize, and then they go home and they're just exhausted and can't figure out why they're so tired. Well, usually that's what it is, because this person is draining their energy,
Yeah.
or
Yes.
this person
Yes.
is exhausting them.
And that's
And then you
real.
can,
And that's
yeah, and you
that's
can
totally real.
yeah, and you can tell when people boost it, and
Hmm.
then you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm high on life. You really are. Like that's what I believe, that I really believe that when you feel that way, you know what I mean? Like you are high on life. That's what that is. Like you are high on the energy that's around you. And I think that's awesome. So
That's awesome. What
yeah.
how I can't even talk. How are
Okay.
you been able to manage throughout this pandemic? I mean, it's almost over, right? I mean, either today, supposedly, if you have the vaccine, you don't
Yeah,
wear masks, but if you what is it? If you don't have it, you have to wear a mask, and if you do have it, you don't have to wear a mask.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not like getting through all this. I actually, be 100% honest, I'm actually, I don't even think I want to say this word. Um, this was a huge self-discovery moment for me.
Yes.
Throughout these last year, yeah, almost year and a half
Yeah,
now.
right?
I was like,
Year.
wait, it's almost June. Like, what is it? Yeah, year and a half. I mean, I was able and lucky enough to still do what I love to do, but still take time to step back and be like, okay, am I doing what I love? Am I taking care of Katie? Am I taking care of my family? Am I taking care of, just my life? And that was really like what it was about for me. So I wouldn't really say it was a struggle, and I wouldn't say that it wasn't a struggle, because I still was like I said, a very emotional person, and I will admit that. I think, but I don't want to just say men and women, or just women, are emotional.
No, we are, men and women are we're not that different.
Mm-mm.
Difference between is, you know, women can be a little bit more outspoken about what they're feeling. Us
Mm-hmm.
men sometimes, um, and I speak for me, I can't speak for everybody else, right?
Right.
It's difficult to find the words to express what I'm feeling, you
Yeah.
know,
Mm-hmm.
especially if I have, if I'm having a stressful day, my my whole focus sometimes will be just, put it to the side and try to get this day over with so I could go to sleep, because I know once I go to sleep, I'm gonna feel much better.
Mm-hmm. See,
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
I was gonna ask you, does
Yeah.
it make you not sleep sometimes, just because of that? Because you felt like you haven't really fulfilled what you thought I should fulfilled for the day.
Uh it depends, because if I'm exhausted
Mm-hmm.
mentally,
Yeah.
if I'm mentally exhausted, I'm gonna knock out. That's it. But if I'm
Right.
physically exhausted and mentally not, I'll be all night just tossing and turning, and my body will be aching, but my mind will be,
Yeah.
on fire. You see me on my phone
Yeah.
looking for
Yeah.
researching. So it's different
Yeah.
because, believe it or not, we're times have changed, but as men, we still, as soon as we start showing emotion, we're quick to think we're, heterosexual, right?
Or you're feminine or
Yeah,
something.
or
Mm-hmm.
something like that.
Yeah.
And
Soft.
yeah, and let's start judging us and criticize as men, and we start like, oh, I
Mm-hmm.
can't be like that. So we're
Yeah.
still, although it's 2021, we're still, as men, we're still tackling that issue, you know
And yeah, yeah, yep. I didn't know if I wasn't gonna try to cut you off. I was just gonna say, um, I really, really, really would love to be able to like work with a group of like hundreds of men and women. I mean, start with men and just like let them know like it's okay to be emotional, and like
yeah,
embrace that. I really would, because I think women are already given they're already given that, and I think that we also have things that, there's a lot of other things that we're not allowed or per se feel like we can do. But I think, like I said, I'm so big on emotions, in so many ways, because I think that really makes up who we are.
yes,
So I think
yes.
that, and like what you were just saying about men, like I really wish I could touch more. I'd love to reach out to more men, or like touch more,
They're
more men.
listening out there. They're listening. Believe it or not, they're listening. Just, it's one of those things that, like, it's it's how do I put it? It's a creature habit, right?
Right.
So if you from childhood, right, to now you're in your mid 30s, maybe 40s, right, or
Yeah.
even 20s, you've been taught, and if you haven't been taught, you have, life have showed you to just put your emotions in a bag, put it or whatever, and put them, in the closet or in the trunk or whatever.
Like be
And
tough type thing.
yeah,
Hmm.
and when it comes to certain edge, or certain age or certain revelation, they'll see it, they'll accept it, but because they're so long stuck putting their feelings in, that's, they're automatically, that's what they will do, put them
Hmm.
away. It's
Hmm.
like somebody, have you seen them, the show, was it Grace and Franklin, Frankie and Grace on Netflix?
Yeah.
That her
Yeah,
husband,
that's funny.
that her
Yeah, my
husband.
daughter loves that show.
I love that show. I love those two ladies.
Yeah,
That I
they
think
cracked me up.
Grace's husband, right after years, in his
Mm-hmm.
70s, he came out that he was gay. So
Yeah.
that's 70 years of you putting in the closet. That it
Oh
took
my
him
gosh, I know.
it took him to realize that he's 70 and he
Yeah,
maybe have one more decade of life before
you're
everything
right.
ends. He's
Yeah,
no more time wasted. He's living his truth, right? So
right.
that's what happens sometimes with men, that it takes us to a
Mm-hmm.
certain age or something to actually show our emotions.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
true.
if you have a wife like mine, that when I show her my emotions, she'll just pat me in the back. You'll be okay, keep it moving. Because
Yeah.
some things, you guys have gone through so much since uh from the first time you guys get your woman thing, right?
Yeah,
You go,
our
you're
maturity.
yeah, you're mature, you reach that maturity. You're so used to with emotions. So if you go into your 20s, 30s, 40s, you'll have a lot of experience when it comes to emotions than us. We're
Mm-hmm.
not able to do that. So something
Yeah.
so small, that when we actually accept our emotions and show it, it's something so small that you guys can't really relate, because that's means it's small.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to us, you guys almost have to treat us like babies, because we're
Yeah.
not used to that shit. We're not used
Yeah.
to breaking down and crying and talking about our
Yeah.
feelings. I'm feeling this way.
Yeah.
We're used to just
Yeah.
the real man, chopping up wood,
Yeah. We
eating
don't
meat.
talk about that, right?
Yeah.
I'm a real man. No,
Yeah.
sorry, I have to say that.
No, it's
Yeah.
it's but it's true. It's true.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not used to that, you
I
know.
mean, something that actually popped into my head. What do you think about like there's I can never say this word right. When I want to say it, socioeconomic status. Do you
Mhm.
think that that really plays a role too? As far as
I mean, being like
not
sociable and
yeah,
repeat.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'll give you two.
As far as a man goes, like what do you think, like your perspective? It's just something that kind of popped in my
Well,
head, so I was
like for
curious.
me, it's like in my head, in my mind, is divided in certain parts, because
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to social, uh, the truth is I'm not a social person. I'm not. I truly believe that I could give two shits if a person likes me or not. I don't. That's not
Mm-hmm.
on my radar.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I get angry at myself because I catch myself doing too much for somebody to like me, and I realize that I don't really care if this person's approval or not.
Yeah.
I don't. But then you know another part of me, it's like it's good to be sociable, have manners, be able to talk, have a sometimes, a bro conversation.
Yeah.
A bro,
Mm-hmm.
a bro conversation is probably the shit we talk about is totally irrelevant, you know?
I
You,
think that
you know,
that's funny. Yeah.
my wife will sit there and probably think, or not my wife, but other wives could sit there. They're here talking about women, and we're really just like, dude, what if we like take this can and put a firecracker and just blow it up, you know?
And like the wives are thinking like, oh, they're talking about I mean, I can't even say it. Never mind.
Yeah, yeah,
But just
yeah,
inappropriate like
yes,
sex,
yes,
basically
yeah,
just sexual
yeah.
shit, right?
And it's
You
not,
know what I'm going
and
with
that's not
it.
even the beginning of the conversation. We're trying to, what if we take this and just blow it up, you
Right.
know? What if I take this go-kart and just put a ramp and just whoa,
Right.
those are literally that conversation we have as
Right.
bros. And then there's other conversations that are more intellectual. Let's talk about
Yeah.
time, life, um, other things, deep conversation that makes you think and open your mind to bigger things and see the bigger picture and have
Yeah.
better understanding.
Yeah.
And then there's just another part of me is just sociable, because here's the thing, right? Me personally, everything I do, it's me,
Yeah.
right? And it's hard for me because now, like, it's who in life, that's how far you're gonna get sometimes.
Yeah.
So if you're
Mhm.
stuck in a community where nobody has anything planned for the future or don't want anything else in the future, that's all you're gonna
Yep.
get. But then
Yeah.
now you gotta, you have to fix yourself, you have to change yourself because change is part of evolution to get where you want to go, right? So
Mhm.
now, example, like you know, I was an area manager, an operation manager for this company, right?
Mhm.
And I've ran 25 to 50 properties in 4 different states.
Oh, wow. Mhm.
So, me being me, it's normal, but then I have to realize I can't be myself. I have to
Mhm.
be this persona and now make to get this contract down, I gotta make them like me. Or
Yeah.
I gotta, I gotta shake it off and I gotta talk more, you know. So to get the
Mhm.
contract or make them like me, excuse me, or whatever. So did you see how I broke it down in 3 to 4 different
Yeah.
aspects?
Oh, yeah, no,
So
definitely.
it,
Yeah,
it's
that's mhm.
it's for me at least, it's really depending. If
Yeah.
like this, usually the people I've had on the podcast, I'm still in touch with them because it's so organic
Yeah.
and so nonchalant. So that um social balance of having people to talk to, I'm totally for it. You know,
Yeah.
other
Mhm.
other
Definitely.
things, it's difficult for me to decide. It's it's
Yeah.
it's it's difficult for me to say if it's good or not because
Right.
everything
Okay.
has it depends.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. No, it's cool to hear it from your perspective. Because like I'm kind of in the same boat as far as like I'm not a super social person, and but I have a select few people where I have those intellectual conversations, people that I feel like I can grow with. And I kind of just separate myself. Like I might still be cordial with people that, I've
Mhm.
had decent relationships with, but not necessarily like have those deep conversations.
Yeah, I
Um,
me is like, like, I don't know if you know about the world of wrestling. It's something called like a gimmick, right?
mhm.
Like if I choose to turn on the gimmick of being sociable, the hardest party animal in the room, I could turn
Yeah.
like this, like this.
Oh, yeah.
You
Right.
know, I
Right.
walk in a room, I'm the most, my comfort zone is that corner by myself, drinking whatever I'm drinking, and that's the best time of my life.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to now interacting with other individuals, I
Mhm.
have to turn that on.
Yeah.
And it's difficult for me, it's difficult for me to turn it on because I walk in a room and I have this habit, I don't know why. I study, I could sit down and look at everything and I see so much, but yet you'll see so little.
Oh, yeah, like very observant. Yeah.
Yes. So
Mhm.
if I see something I don't like, that small thing that I saw, it
We'll
it, it,
keep
it's bigger than a normal person will see it.
yeah.
So,
No.
if I have to
Mhm.
interact with that person, I'm grinding my teeth.
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
like hyper, almost hyperventilating. I'm getting anxiety because I'm
Yeah.
forcing myself to partake in something that is just it's not for me.
Mhm. It's just like one of those things that trigger you. Like it's a
Hmm.
trigger point for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I it's the same thing. I'm a very I mean, I'm sure you could tell because was in the behavioral field, but I'm a very observant person, and that's exactly what happens to me. I'll see something and be like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so I'm just gonna just be quiet right here and watch everybody else.
But then
Unless you.
then you have that, like, I don't know if it happens to you, but with me, like, I get this question all the time. Like, you know, at one point in my life, I used to get so irritated. Now I just smile. It's like
Oh
they
yeah.
they, they always approach me. It's like, why are you so quiet? And my response is, why shouldn't I?
Right.
Or
Right. Like why do I have to talk? Right.
is there a problem?
Mm-hmm.
You know? and the response, whoever takes initiative, right? Because sometimes they'll give me, oh, it's okay, just asking, just want to make sure you're okay. Others are, I can't read you.
No. Yeah.
Oh, and like, but why do you need to read me? Are you selling me something?
Right.
Do you trying,
Exactly.
like, because
Mm-hmm.
nowadays, somebody's approach is always for something. It's
Oh
not to
yeah.
say hi, how are you? It's always for something. So
Mm-hmm.
predictable in the year 2021.
Oh my gosh, I know. I just was talking about that for sure. About when people on Facebook, for example, like I just had to touch on that. Like people add you, right? And you're like, okay, like if we got mutual friends, or that is the first thing that I look at. I look at to see if we have any mutual friends. And if we have at least like 5 plus, then I'll take a look. And then I'll be
Mhm.
like, okay, like what do you got going on? And then I swear like 99.9% of the time they're going to send me that friend request, and then like 10 minutes later, hey, it's nice to connect with you, like how are you doing today? And then we'll
Mhm.
have like a 5 minute conversation, and then they're like, oh, I'd love for you to join my program or join my, and I'm like, and and I don't mean to be rude, like I get people have to do their job, but like that's, it gets so true, like that's what it's about. Like people are just out to get something out of it now, or out of
Yeah,
you
yeah.
necessarily. Not
I
even, it's not about human connection or
Yeah,
having a
yeah,
good conversation. It's about
yeah.
what can I get out of it.
I totally agree. I just reaching out for this podcast, right? Just reaching
Mm-hmm.
out to somebody. It's challenging, you know.
It can be.
It's
Mm-hmm.
challenging because like I did a post recently, or maybe a week or so. I had to say, I was like, if I reach out to you to talk about something, it's because I think you're the best at what you're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
So if I ask you that and your response is, "Oh no, I don't feel comfortable," or "I don't have nothing to show," or what are the other million excuses they give me?
I don't know if I have time for that. That's what people will say. Oh, that the common one is I don't
Mm,
really know what I would say,
yeah.
or I don't know. Yeah, like, well, what, how many questions would you to ask me, or is it going to be video or audio? And
Hmm.
like that's a lot of the, I don't know. Those are the main. What you said is mostly what I
Yeah.
get to.
And I got to a point that I was like, if I, like I said, if I'm reaching out to you and I'm actually coming my shows because I think you're the best at what you do. But if you don't think you're the best at what you do, then that's a problem.
Oh, 100%.
That that's
Hundred
that's
percent.
a problem. If you don't see
Mm-hmm.
yourself as somebody, you know, then that's a problem.
Yeah.
You know,
No.
I
Yeah.
I tell
100%.
everybody, hey, this is my, I tell everybody, check out my, my YouTube. Let me know what you think. If you're interested, it's a nonchalant
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
Let me know. So when
Mm-hmm.
people tell me they don't have time, right? And they don't want to do it after they see my videos and my different interviews, now they don't stop calling or texting.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, I'm not trying to live. That's literally how it goes, though.
Yeah. So
Literally. Hmm.
sometimes I'm not gonna lie, I tend to be a little a-hole. I ignore because
Hmm.
it's all about being humble,
Well, yeah, definitely.
you
Oh
know.
my gosh, yeah. You
It's
have
all
to be.
about it's all about being humble, you
Hmm.
know. But now when you're trying to somebody reaches out for just to talk to you, and you're trying to put this front of you're here,
Yeah.
okay. I say okay.
Yeah.
I say okay, all right, good talking to you. And they'll just
Uh,
like right now my phone is still blowing up.
yeah. You
Right?
heard mine going off.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, shut that thing off.
yeah. But that's how it is,
Mhm.
and I reach out to people. Just I'm interested, like you, motivated speaker. Never had a motivated speaker. What inspires them, Because maybe one day
Mhm.
I would like to be a motivated speaker, or maybe somebody who watches this episode can help them with this conversation, can help them find the start to their
Yeah.
journey, And that's what it's
Mhm.
all. That's what it's honestly is all about. Just helping one another and being a support
Yeah.
system.
Yeah. And that's actually very, 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 very important right now, is just all of us being our own support system, and by going back to to understanding each other and understanding we are all different.
Yes.
I mean, because that's one thing I learned as a behavioral therapist, working with all these kids and everybody, you have these books and you have to write these specific programs. And I'm like, no, this is not what he needs, she needs. I can't do it like this. And as soon as I did it, what I like, my gut, I swear it was nothing but my gut that came out. And I wrote these programs. These kids were just fantastic. Well, where's the data?
Right here.
Like, it's in my head because I know what they need and I know they're different, and this book is not what they need. Like, I would literally be like, I can't use this. Like, this is useless. And that's just life. Like, you can't use this book or use that book. You can use it as a tool and you can pull things from it and you can keep using it. And that's exactly what I've done. Like, that's what I've tell people is like, just take every little pieces of everything and then put it into like what you do or what you love.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm not necessarily just labeled, because I do so many things and I inspire just all different kinds of people. Well, I try to. I don't want to say I
Yeah, do
do.
your
I
best you
try
can.
to. Yeah, exactly. And I think, and like you were saying with the confidence thing, or feeling like you have something that you can talk about. Like, everybody does have something they can talk about. There's got to be something. Um, but that's just what I
Yeah.
think.
I
And
mean,
the being different part.
just having a conversation,
Right.
like
Mm-hmm.
everybody's so, texy and, this
Yeah.
facial computer screen. Everybody's so used to that.
I know.
You
I
know,
know.
I had this doing this podcast and everything. Somebody told me or somebody read it, something like that. Something about if you can't explain it to an 8-year-old, it's not gonna work,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So when I first had this initial thought of creating my brand and the podcast, I explained this to an 8-year-old,
Yeah. That's
and
awesome. And understood
and
it.
she told me it was awesome.
Oh,
She shut up told me it
that's
was
so cool.
awesome.
That's so cool. Like,
And
yeah, I get it. A thumbs up, right?
no, she actually went, and that's how smart she is. Like she went actually in depth. She's like, yes. Everybody's so stuck on their phones and on computers
Oh
and on
my
games
gosh.
that it's good to have a conversation with somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I was first of all,
Wow.
I was blown away.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, holy cow, this 8-year-old just
Yeah, it
said
just
that.
blew, just blew my mind. I mean, I was like, okay. So
Like, but
it
you
took
knew you did it right though, right?
yeah,
That's what you're thinking in your head, like, oh, I got her to ask the right questions.
yeah. Not even I was just blown away with her response because
Yeah.
I think because like her family's very oriented, books, read, prop, do all that,
Yeah.
you know, not like other families there's, here's a, damn video game, here's a phone, you know, go, go Google something, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
right. Go Google something. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
and it took me a while to actually launch it, actually 3 years, I think. And that's why I'm grateful for the pandemic, because the pandemic hit, and I realized I invested so much money on shit I don't need, and I just need a nice
Been there.
microphone, maybe a microphone holder and some lighting, and that's it.
Right. Yeah.
That's
Yep.
it. 6 months in, and here we are.
Yeah. No, definitely. That's where people, I think, always get it wrong, is they spend too much money first. And
Hmm.
like, that's like the way opposite. Like, you're supposed to have it first and then go, you know what I mean? Not have it first. But what's a better word to use? I don't really want to say manifest, but um like, you don't want to be spending more money than you're already like making at the time. I know that's kind of like a
Yeah,
financial
no, yeah,
thing,
yeah.
but
Especially if
I
you're an
mean,
entrepreneur.
yeah, right. And that's basically what I was getting at, is like, but as entrepreneur, because you are one that you know the struggle, what the struggle
Yes.
can be like.
A lot of
So
DIY.
yes, very much
Yes,
so. I learned
yes.
that the hard way,
Hmm.
unfortunately.
Yes,
But yeah,
yes.
multiple, trying to work with different kinds of people, and the going back to the energy thing, like just not vibing right. I need to do my own thing, and it's worked out better for
That's
me.
why,
So,
I gotta be honest to, all my listeners, so they can support me a little bit more. Like that's what, like, I'm doing my best that I can
mhm.
to uplift my business, dream, inspire, obtain, because I don't want to work for nobody else.
Oh my gosh, right.
I
Of
just
course.
I can't. I've gone to the pinnacle, right? What's pinnacle? A nice salary job, right?
Mhm.
65,000 a year,
Mhm.
suit and tie. I'm the guy you don't want to see if I come to the site. And it wasn't enough.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
I
I
couldn't see
totally
my
get that.
son. I couldn't spend time with my wife.
Right.
I was always on the damn phone,
Oh my
emails.
gosh, I know. Worst, that's the worst.
It wasn't
And
amusing anymore.
mhm.
And then, you work a certain way, people trying to direct you who works for them,
Yeah.
and what's working for them is not
Right.
working. And I was miserable. So I'm here now.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, and like it's kind of like it was kind of like an awakening slash like transition for you, where you were just like, yeah, like this is it. And that's pretty much what happened with me too. I'm just like, yeah. And it wasn't like a snap of the fingers, but in my head it was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I've already made this decision. Like I'm there. I'm not
Yeah.
here anymore.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
totally get that. You just feel very disconnected from yourself. It's not even so much feeling disconnected with your family, but you're just so disoriented from yourself because you're into that so much more than your life.
Yeah. You're going through the motions. Like you're not even in control of your body.
Exactly.
Your body is going, to itself, same
Like
movements.
a little robot
Yeah.
almost. Yeah.
Yeah. So where do you host your podcast at?
So I do have the main platform that I was using is Anchor. But I don't think I talked to you about this, but I actually am just doing video now. So what I was
Nice.
thinking of doing was probably switching over to YouTube. And then I do have everything like on Spotify and Apple. So, I put it on, yeah, Spotify, Apple, and Google, I believe.
Google
Because
Podcasts, yeah.
yeah. Because I know that Anchor only does so many. But yeah, so there's that. And then I do have my Facebook is just KT Talk Show. KT, and then the talk show is just slash KT Talk Show on Facebook, and that's where most of my stuff is posted right now.
Got it.
Um, yeah. I don't like Instagram is kind of a mix, but I'm kind of messing around a lot with the internet more. Because like I said, I stepped back. I
Hmm.
was like totally like not in the video world. But now that I'm back into it, I'm kind of tapping into more things. So right as of now, and my website, I'm kind of building that up too. So I have a
Nice.
better
Yeah,
website.
you're doing
Yeah.
you're actually doing a great job, honestly, because
Thanks.
when I first initiated, like I said, like it took some years to start
Mm-hmm.
this, and
Oh
um
yeah.
and wasting money on shit I really didn't need. Like I only need the free version of Zoom,
Right.
right? And once we start recording, it downloads automatically, right? It
Exactly.
gives me a separate file for just audio
Yeah.
and a separate
Yeah.
file for just video, right?
Yeah.
And I did my homework. Like I was gonna go to Anchor, but I started doing my homework, and like, yeah, they help you get sponsors and all this. But my question still was, how far are there in heart pushing your things out there?
Yeah.
How do I
Mhm.
know I'm just not another podcast on on the shelf?
Right. Right.
Same thing with
Exactly.
I'm on Google Podcasts, I'm on Apple Music, Spotify,
Yeah.
and with Spotify is a little different because you actually can
It
see the
is.
numbers. But like if
Mhm.
I'm not promoting my stuff, how do I know they're pushing my stuff out there?
Right. Right. You're right. Yeah. Well, and actually I was using Zencaster, and then I switched to Zoom. So I do use Zoom
Yeah.
for the video now, and I use the free version. Um, but yeah, but Anchor, as far as like, I mean, the sponsorships are okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's pretty decent, but at the same time, it's not like, it's not pushing it probably where I would like it to be. Because where I envision it, I would say,
Yeah, yeah.
you know. But
So it's
yeah,
better off just
YouTube I
invest.
think is where
Yeah,
it's going.
yeah. And YouTube, it's I just send out the link, promote it myself, and I've
Hmm.
gotten a little bit more success. Not where I imagine it, like you say, but I've gotten further than what it
Yeah,
was. And
right, right.
but like I think it's mostly depends on how far will you go. You know?
Right, right. And right, and I noticed too, like the video is really what pushed me to do it. I was like, yeah, this is grabbing attention. Like the
Yeah.
video was really grabbing more attention. So then I was like, yeah, this is where I at least got that check mark, like, okay, video is where it's at. So I don't know if that's what you found too, but I really did, because people are like, oh, they just see your face, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. No, I wanted initially, I wanted both. Like after once like you said, my mind clicked and
Yeah,
I was gonna go full force with this. I wanted both. I didn't want just
yeah,
audio. I wanted visual as well. So that I straight off the bat when I first
yeah.
started, I had both.
Yeah,
So
which was good. That's a good, yeah, for you. I should have, for sure. And actually, I get extremely nervous by myself on camera, but as soon and I this is probably for a lot of people, but as soon as I'm on camera with somebody else, it's like that's just out the window. I don't even get nervous.
yeah,
I
I
don't know
I
why.
I refused. I refused. I refuse to do a podcast alone. I refuse. I refuse. It's just it's
It's
like,
hard. It's a lot harder. It really
yeah,
is.
like you see mostly the people that do it alone are comedians. So I get that
Yeah.
because they're practicing, they're talking about things, they're practicing their stick.
Yeah.
But what
Hmm.
we're trying to do, oh man, I refuse.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just gonna sound I'm going on a rant. I'm
Well,
going on
right.
a
And
rant.
at this point, I think like with both of our shows, like
Mhm.
it's not the same with just one person,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's gotta be two people, because it's kind of turned into an interview, like a talk show. I mean,
yeah,
that's what they are,
yeah. And like I had this gentleman, Carl Irvington. He started his podcast. I'm gonna put him in touch with you as well. Um,
Cool. Yeah.
he extraordinary young man. He has co-hosts, so I listened to a couple of his episodes, and they're fun. So
Yeah.
it's like if everybody wants to, I do want to, try to have a co-host, because sometimes you do
Yeah.
it alone, and it just sounds like you're going on a rant,
Yeah.
and
You gotta
you're
get
jumping from
lost.
sub. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Unless you have like a very specific thing that you're talking about, like real estate and crypto, right? Like you can talk about those two things on a podcast
yeah,
pretty
you
regularly,
basically
you know?
having a niche,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
and
Like
that's something.
nutrition or
Yeah,
something like that. Hmm.
that having a niche and recording myself are the two things I don't want.
No,
I don't
right.
I don't
Same.
like
Yeah. I don't want a niche.
I don't
want
want a
it all.
podcast just about sports.
Hmm.
I don't want a podcast just about, real estate, because real estate
Right.
it's tricky, man, because everybody has a solution. Everybody tells you how to make big bucks, but they're all talking. They're all talking.
Yeah, and that also goes along with like, is that what you want to do? Is that your passion? If it's not
Hmm.
fulfilling you, then you're not going to be successful.
And if you don't have money, or you don't know how to get the money, manage your money or credit, it's not gonna,
Yeah,
you can have all this knowledge. It's not gonna get you far,
no, you're
you
going to
know?
get lost and stuck and probably with debt if you don't
Yeah.
research it.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. 100%. So I wanted something that I could talk to anybody. I wanted somebody to talk about their dream or their
Right.
passion,
Hmm.
and I
Yeah.
also created it because I wanted, like, through the pandemic, small businesses were suffering. So if I could create a
Oh my
platform
gosh. Yeah.
for them to come here and just talk about their bodega, you
Yeah.
know, come do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Come do it. I'm
Yeah.
all ears.
Oh
Come
yeah.
do it. So
Yeah. Because eventually, I mean, no matter how big or small, it's some sort of impact, right?
Yeah.
That's what I always
Yeah.
think.
And
For sure.
give that positive support, supportive dreamers. That's all it's all about,
Yeah. Big or small.
Exactly. So, Kate,
Mm-hmm.
tell the people where they can
Yeah.
find you at. Give all your plugins. Let them know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, I'm working on my actual website right now, because that's going to have like oh my gosh, see, I'm new to this stuff. It's got where you can click the links,
The
like
link
all
tree.
the way down. I'm working. Yeah,
Link tree.
see, this is where I'm like how behind I am. I'm working on
Don't
that right
worry
now,
about
but yeah, you would think that as like young as I am. Well, I'm 31. I don't know if you could consider that young or whatever.
I'm 31. We're still young and vibrant. Don't worry about that.
Right. Okay. Thank you. There you go. So, so the most active page I would say is my Facebook page. So it's just, Facebook/KT. So KT Talk Show. And Instagram, that's not so popping right now. So I would just, like I said, the Facebook page.
For now, guys. For now.
Yes, for now. Yes, for now.
We gotta lift her up. You can do this.
Thank you. Working on the YouTube. It is started. I just have to edit videos, put them up, process of that. And that's just Connect with KT, and it's with a K. So it's just KONNECT with KT.
Well, when you're up and running, let's do another episode and get all your links,
Yeah. No, definitely, because you and I have to do one on mine. So
yes.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that's where you can find me. And I'm also doing, if you guys are interested in what I call it, well, it depends on what you want to call it. It's instinctive meditation. It's something that I worked on for a long time while I was cooped up. And it was a way that I kind of healed myself in different ways, and I'm teaching it now. So that's just kind of something that it's a passion of mine. I love it. I want people to experience it.
There you go, guys.
So if that's something, you guys are interested in, I like doing free sessions, because I like people to just kind of feel me out and see if they're comfortable. So
got it. Well, there you go. Check her out. Kate, thank you for joining me. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm looking forward to be on your show.
Yeah. And, very soon.
Yes. Thank you for joining me, guys. Have a great day. Peace.
Thank you. Bye, guys.